Welcome once again to a Daily Academy podcast. This is the Advanced Bankroll Management Strategy series, and this is Chapter 6A. Decrease your risk, increase your safety. Obviously written here by Chris, so I'm going to let him take the reins here and explain introduction, all these things as you're reading it here, and give you the breakdown of what you're looking for here.
Thank you for such a superb introduction there, Mr. Justin. Yeah, of course. So this is the last podcast I'm going to be having for you guys on this series. Essentially, what you can summarize this as is player exposure and how you should allocate funds towards players you like more, players you like a little bit less, long shots, players in good positions, so on and so forth. So what this article entails is it says essentially, how much are you playing on a night-to-night basis in GPP? So if you decide that you're playing, say, $1,000 tonight and you played on one lineup, every single player on that lineup is essentially has an EV of 1,000. If you played two lineups and didn't use a player twice, every player is worth $500 or 50% of the risk. So that's how you need to look at it when you're playing GPPs. Say a normal player plays $100 a night. One thing I talk about in the chapter is essentially explaining, okay, find your main position player. So I like to look at it for like on FanDuel for basketball, like your center or your quarterback or your pitcher. And I decide how many pitchers I want to select, how many quarterbacks I want to select, and I build around that. So if I have four players, four pitchers I like tonight that I'm playing, and I'm doing each of those the same amount of lineups, each of those players is worth $25. I then decide how much I want to distribute those lineups. So right now, if we only did four lineups, each player would be worth, $25, so on and so forth. Here we talk about, okay, what if we did each pitcher on 5 different lineups? So then we can allocate our funds appropriately amongst the players. So then, we go down further, and I really suggest you look at the article just because it gives a good diagram for you, and it shows a football one, and it explains to you you've got $100 and you got it allocated over 4 quarterbacks, 8 running backs, like couple too many wide receivers and some tight ends, and it shows you what the exposure, how much money they're worth, how many lineups they're in, or how many lineups you want them in, how many lineups are actually in, and the number of lineups you have remaining with them. So, for example, with our running backs, our highest owned running backs, there's 3 of them, and they're each in 4 lineups. And our lowest is 2 of them, they're each in 1 lineup. So those guys are worth $5 versus $20. So that's how you want to do it. You want to break it down based on how much you like a player. If you like a player more, what I like to do is I have a maximum threshold. So my favorite player of the day, your quote-unquote lock, I pick a number I want to have him on, and no player will ever go about 2 exposures away. So if the most I have is $25 or $30, the next highest player would not be $20 of exposure. So that's kind of how I break it down. I really suggest that you go on the article and look at that graph. I think it's going to help a lot and show you what it means, how to use it. It's all about allocating your funds based on the players you like. And if you have every player worth $5, $10, $15, you can still have $1,000 worth of GPP lineups, but it's significantly less riskier by only having a player 10, 15% of it versus all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a great way to attack it, because I know a lot of people first multi-entering GPPs. I've been in the same boat before where you see the guys you like and you just kind of obscurely build a bunch of lineups, and over the long term, even on that one day, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if there's no rhyme or reason to it. You're costing yourself money in the long term by doing something like that. All right.
Yeah, I mean, so put a rhyme or reason to it, and read the article, and good luck on your GPPs.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that helped you out with your strategy here. Obviously, if you have any questions about that, find Chris on Twitter at SpaceJam23DFS, and we're going to check on out of here for this Bankroll podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.